China bolstering air power along coastline facing Taiwan. McCarthy announces Biden impeachment inquiry. North Korea's Kim Jong-un arrives in Russia. Ukraine could get long-range missiles armed with U.S. cluster bombs. Thousands missing and more than 5,300 feared dead in Libya flood. Morocco earthquake death toll passes 2901. Tesla jumps as Analyst predicts $600 billion value boost from Dojo. Western Balkans press for swift approval of European Union membership.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Wednesday, September 13th, and here are your top stories. Taiwan's Defense Ministry said on Tuesday in its biannual report that China is bolstering its air power along the coast facing Taiwan with a permanent deployment of new fighters and drones and expanded air bases. In its National Defense Report, the ministry said the Chinese Communists have been completing the expansion of airfields along the coastline of its eastern and southern theater commands, realigning new fighters and drones to be permanently stationed there.
The ministry said that China's frequent drills to Taiwan's north and south and into the Pacific show its efforts to intimidate Taiwan from both its east and west. The report outlined the gray zone, ostensibly non-military methods, China also uses against Taiwan. The ministry said that included weather balloons around the Taiwan Strait that are actually for spying purposes, and civilian aircraft used for surveillance. On Tuesday, the ministry reported that 22 Chinese warplanes and 20 warships entered the Taiwan Strait.
U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy authorized the House of Representatives to move forward on an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden, based on what Republicans have criticized as Biden's family influence peddling. On Tuesday, McCarthy said, "This is the logical next step that will give our committee the full power to gather all the facts and answer for the American public." He added, "I'm directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden."
Through our investigations, we have found that President Biden did lie to the American people about his own knowledge of his family's foreign business.
McCarthy said the investigation will be led by House Oversight and Accountability Committee Chairman James Comer, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, and House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith. The Speaker noted that offenses could include abuse of power, obstruction, and corruption. The House Oversight and Accountability Committee has obtained bank records that show the Biden family earned at least $20 million from foreign individuals and entities from Biden's time as vice president under President Barack Obama.
Japanese media reported on Tuesday that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has arrived in Russia for what the Kremlin said would be a comprehensive discussion with President Vladimir Putin. North Korean state media reported on Tuesday that Kim left Pyongyang for Russia last Sunday on a private train accompanied by top arms industry and military officials and the foreign minister. Japan's Kyodo News Agency reported on Tuesday that the train carrying Kim had arrived at Kasan Station, the main rail gateway to Russia's Far East from North Korea.
Putin was expected to arrive in Vladivostok on Tuesday, where he was scheduled to attend the main session of the Eastern Economic Forum, which runs through Wednesday. His meetings with Kim were expected to be on the sidelines of the forum, although there has been no confirmation of the location or whether Kim would attend the event. The North Korean delegation includes prominent members of the party who handle defense industry and military affairs. Washington urged Pyongyang not to sell arms to Russia.
According to 4 U.S. officials, Reuters reported that the Biden administration is close to approving the shipment of long-range missiles packed with cluster bombs to Ukraine. 3 U.S. officials said after seeing the success of cluster munition delivered in 155mm artillery rounds in recent months, the U.S. is considering shipping either or both Army tactical missile systems that can fly up to 306 kilometers or guided multiple launch rocket system missiles with a 45-mile range packed with cluster bombs.
After appearing to successfully win a commitment from the U.S. to deploy advanced fighter jets to Ukraine, Congress is now urging the Biden administration to deliver long-range weapons to
Ukraine is currently equipped with 155mm artillery with a maximum range of 18 miles carrying up to 48 bomblets. The ATACMS under consideration would propel around 300 or more bomblets. The GMLRS rocket system, a version of which Ukraine has had in its arsenal for months, would be able to disperse up to 404 cluster munitions. The four sources said the decision to send ATACMS or GMLRS, or both, is not final and could still fall through. Antony Blinken was said to have discussed the U.S. providing the long-range missiles.
Authorities in eastern Libya said more than 5,300 people are feared dead and thousands more were missing after a massive flood rippled through the city of Derna following a heavy storm and rain. The spokesperson for the Libyan National Army that controls eastern Libya, Ahmed Mesmeri, said in a television news conference that the disaster came after dams above Derna had collapsed, sweeping whole neighborhoods with their residents into the sea. Ms. Murray puts the number of missing at 5,000 to 6,000.
In Tripoli, the three-person presidential council, which functions as head of state in the divided country, asked the international community to help. The council said, "We call on brotherly and friendly countries and international organizations to provide assistance." Storm Daniel swept in over the Mediterranean last Sunday, swamping roads and destroying buildings in Derna, and hitting other settlements along the coast, including Libya's second biggest city of Benghazi.
Villagers in parts of Morocco devastated by the country's biggest earthquake in over a century camped outside for a fortnight on Monday, as the death toll rose to more than 2,901 people. Search teams from Spain, Britain, and Qatar joined Moroccan efforts to find survivors from the 6.8 magnitude quake that struck in the high Altus Mountains late last Friday, flattening the traditional mud brick houses ubiquitous in the region. State TV reported late on Monday that the death toll had rose to 2,901, with 5,530 people injured.
The epicenter of the quake was about 72 kilometers southwest of Marrakesh, where some historical buildings in the Old City, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, were damaged. The quake also did major damage to the historically significant 12th century Tinmel Mosque. However, more modern parts of Marrakesh largely escaped unscathed, including a site near the airport earmarked for IMF and World Bank meetings, due to be held next month. Sources said the government wants to proceed with the meeting.
Tesla rallied 6% on Monday after Morgan Stanley said its Dojo supercomputer could power a near $600 billion surge in the electric car maker's market value by helping speed up its foray into robot taxis and software services. Tesla, already the world's most valuable automaker, started production of the supercomputer to train artificial intelligence models for self-driving cars in July and plans to spend more than $1 billion on Dojo through the next year.
Morgan Stanley analysts led by Adam Jonas wrote in a note on Sunday Dojo can open up new addressable markets that extend well beyond selling vehicles at a fixed price. And, if Dojo can help make cars see and react, what other markets could open up? Think of any device at the edge with a camera that makes real-time decisions based on its visual field. Morgan Stanley raised its 12 to 18-month target on Tesla's shares by 60% to $400, which LSEG data estimated would give Tesla a market capitalization of about $1.39 trillion.
The heads of states of 6 Western Balkan countries that are seeking to join the European Union met in North Macedonia on Monday and urged the bloc to accelerate its enlargement process, saying that would contribute to regional stability. A joint declaration from the presidents of Serbia, Kosovo, Bosnia, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Albania said both the EU and the Western Balkans should be ready for enlargement as soon as possible, but not later than 2030.
The declaration stressed the need for the 6 countries to join the EU, in view of the continued Russian aggression against Ukraine and its spillover effect in the region. Serbia and Montenegro were the first of the 6 countries to launch EU membership negotiations, followed by Albania and Macedonia last year. Bosnia and Kosovo have only begun the first step of the integration process. The region was riven by wars in the 1990s, and ethnic tensions remain high, particularly between Serbia and Kosovo.
The answer for yesterday was D, stranded. Air travelers were left stranded because of icy conditions. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of thousands missing and more than 5,300 fearing dead in Libya flood. Number 1, sweep, 猛烈吹过,掠过,席卷,横扫. Rain swept in through the broken windows. Number 2, swamp, 淹,淹没. The little boat was swamped by the waves. Number 3, settlement, 定居点. The village is a settlement of just 50 houses. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comments section, and the correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's it for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wei Li, your host. I'll see you next time.